I want to go look at this story about the impact of Labor's new climate change policy, the safeguard mechanism, the concessions that Labor did with the Greens. We heard the coal chiefs come out yesterday, and I had an exclusive interview with a coal chief last night on my program, and he actually said he might have to tear up his contract, his export contract, with Japan, because in order to meet the emissions targets, he might not be able to, produce enough coal to export it. Matt Canavan, we're also hearing, and I've just got this story here, we're also hearing from Japanese gas giant INPEX. They've also said that this might mean that Australia is an unreliable export partner. How worrying is this that we're hearing this both from Australia and Japan?
It's a huge concern, should be a huge concern for all Australians, because when you think about our economic position right now, we're basically being bankrolled by the strength of our mining industry. Our budget is only really holding on thanks to the record exports we're seeing from coal, from iron ore, from gas. And all of those exports are on the back of very large investments that companies like INPEX have made in the past. In fact, INPEX made the biggest investment by a Japanese country outside of Japan, anywhere in the world. It was made in Darwin to build their Ichthys LNG facility, $60 billion of investment in our nation. And that's paying off for us now because those gas exports generate revenue, jobs and taxes for all Australians. But of course, we won't get that revenue stream in the future unless more investments are made today. And effectively what the government has done with the Greens in the Senate this week is to put a cap on our economic activity, put a cap on the amount of carbon emissions we have. That's what Adam Bank got. It's going to be a hard cap.
Yeah.
And so that's why the coal executive you interviewed said he may not be able to meet his production contracts, his contracts with those customers, because once they get to that cap, you can't produce any more. Why would any government put a ceiling on our economic potential or opportunity? That has never happened in our history. And this Labor government has passed something here which will restrain our Australian economy when we should be shooting for the stars.
Yeah, that was Nick Jaws from Bowen Coking Coal. And it's very difficult, Janet, because any businessman wants to grow their business. But when you've got a cap, and if that's come in, they've been operational for 4 years, they had all these expansion plans, and he's now talking about having to scrap the contracts he's got to export coal to Japan. Look, it's very difficult to try and intervene in how businesses are run. But, this is ultimately what the Albanese government in those deals with the Green has done. We've seen the Prime Minister come out and say it's not going to affect Australia's exports. We will be a reliable export partner, but it seems like he can't really make that commitment.
I think that's the great unknown. What will happen in the future, and not to sound vague, but I think that's true. When you speak, I think we're seeing Japanese companies saying that we don't think that Australia is a viable infrastructure partner anymore. I think we're probably going to be seeing a number of other, not only in the resources sector, but probably around superannuation funds and things like that, probably don't want to invest in Australia just because of the amount of government intervention.